Good morning. I haven't done a reading in quite a while because, like everyone else, I am transmuting, transforming, releasing, purging, allowing more vast light and expansion and depth to occur. So, needless to say, there's a whole lot of growth happening. And the energies really haven't let up. So the level of exhaustion and the waves of exhaustion, elation, quiet time, chattiness, all of that, we're really being stripped down to the barest of ourselves. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful mess for me because I am a hot mess most of the time. And I am in deep appreciation of those who embrace me for all of my messiness. I truly, truly am thankful. I'm also incredibly thankful for those who are my catalysts, my triggerers, because they are the ones, we are the ones who do the really boots on the ground assistance. And it's not glorious and much of the time graceful. There's also, for many of us, for most of us, when we're in active catalytic position or role, we're not even really conscious that we are doing it. It's not a set out intention. It is us allowing ourselves to become a very important pawn, quote unquote, in the growth and expansion of our fellow beings here on earth. So today I'm going to do a pretty in-depth, I think, as per me usual. There's no script here. So I am pulling out all my decks that I actively use now that are working with me now. And of course my stones, right? My stones. The stones, when I do a reading, they go into a pouch. And so just so you know, you'll hear that clanking around when I get to that point. But I like to start out with the Wildwood deck. And it's a beautiful deck. And I set that as the foundation. I honestly haven't given thought why I do that, except that it feels really good and it feels grounded, like I am setting a foundation with the Wildwood. And then the other deck, the Animal Spirit deck, and the stones bring in the medicines that offer their insight, support, guidance, and all of that. And then the final card that I draw is actually a newer deck that a local artist here to me created. She and her daughter are incredibly talented artists. And this particular deck is called Earthly Souls and Spirits. And I pull only one single card for this type of reading because it's the final message. And that final message is typically what everything else lays out as potential to getting to, if that makes sense. I hope. Okay, so I'm not the greatest shuffler. I'm a hot mess. And here we go. The layout that I do is the 5-point star, the pentagram, if you may. I always start out with this in spirit. And so the first card, get that lined up for you. The first card, I'll hold it up, is respect. So in the spirit position, there's a whole lot of spiritual respect that is being asked of us, and for us, perhaps. That's the baseline message for spirit, and it will grow and expand and develop as we go into the reading. Now, I just want to preface this with, there may be some people that this resonates really strong with, and other people it's kind of here, there, and whatever, and then other people it's like, yeah, no. And that's all fine and good. It is perfect in whatever stage of acceptance or non-acceptance happens. It doesn't mean the reading is wrong, inaccurate, or spot on. It just means that it is on the frequency resonance of, or not, of anyone watching and observing. So in the earth position, we have, it's the pole star. I'm just going to hold this up. It's one of my favorite cards. And it's inverted. So there's opportunity for growth and expansion. Yeah, and I don't know how this whole video thing happens. Like if it's in opposite of how I'm laying it out. I don't know. Anyway, this is the earth position. So this indicates, so far, respect required, insisted upon in the spirit position. The pole star is number 17, which I love that number. And it's in balance. It is the connection with our highest, most cosmic self. And so I believe that this is out of balance so far, because we're really kind of being tossed into the blender. And so why wouldn't this be out of balance? You know, our feeling grounded in our connection with universal consciousness, with the collective mass consciousness, with our orientation, origination, all of that. So that makes sense. So then we go into the element of air, and it's imbalance, which is, I would have half suspected that this would have shown up in balance, but this is a good sign that even though we're feeling ungrounded, our communication and our thoughts are really kind of coming into balance. I think prior to this, that wasn't so much. And this card is the Ace of Arrows, the breath of life. And so it's the ace. So it's us as an individual, our clarity. And I intuitively, this is telling me that we are getting or becoming balanced in our thoughts and words and communication, because there's new life, there's a new perspective, a new view. It's expanding. So we're coming into a balance because there is actually new life, a new breath being infused. So then we go across and we go into, this is lovely. I hope I'm getting this. This is lovely because this is, I'm just going to pull this in a little tighter, because this is the position of water. So this is about our emotions. And again, it's ace. So it's all about the individual. And it's the bow, the Ace of Bows, and the spark of life. So there's a rebirthing happening. There's a renewal happening. Probably as a result of us kind of flushing out and releasing all that hasn't really served us and kind of caused us confusion and chaos. I've seen it even within spiritual communities, there's been somewhat of a chaotic state, a lot of name calling and blame gaming and so forth. So this is really, really encouraging. So over here we have the breath of life, and over here we have the spark of life. So this is infusing, literally, how appropriate and imbalanced is this? Because this is literally infusing, bringing in via air, a renewal into our level of communication. Don't be surprised if you or you witness others come into their expansive ability for higher communications. Excuse the puppy dog frolicking that's going on. Apparently that's needed and necessary at this time. So anyway, this is kind of bringing newness into our communication. This is really sparking a higher level of emotions. And intuitively what that tells me is that this has a lot to do with coming into an emotional non-attachment status and awareness. That we can observe each other and not have the need to respond or react to what is being said or what you are hearing or what you are seeing. So this is, they're both, the arrow and the bow, they work together in balance to really achieve and get to the goal that you're focused in on. So I love that this is showing up in balance. It's awesome. So far we're just initially feeling a little imbalance in our grounding. And it makes sense because there's shifting happening here. There's a real clarity that is occurring so far. So really cool. In the fire position, we have the seer. Boop. My all-time favorite. Well, I say that with a lot of cards, but I really love her. I love, love, love her. She's the seer, and it's the number 2. So this means that we're coming into partnership in really honing in and really trusting and seeing and feeling our intuitive selves expand. I wanted to say explode. And I think that might have came to me because of the position of fire. This is in balance. So this is telling me that the fire is neither too hot or too cold. It is in perfect balance to nurture and keep us warm and feeling safe in our exploration of who we are. The 2 indicates that, well, obviously there's a balance in the number 2. It also means that we're collectively perhaps we're going to experience what would initially appear as like a duality, and we kind of, we avoid that whole duality thing, right? Because we've been taught and programmed to believe that duality is not such a great thing. But in duality, there can be balance, the whole yin-yang effect and aspect in play. Now, I feel like we may have different views, we may have different experiences, but we can see that there is balance within that. Overall, so far, we're shifting into a more peaceful, higher level of communication and emotions. And that brings us into the ability to respect and see others' views and so forth. Okay. So from there, I think we should go into the animal deck, if you remember, and see what kind of support. Now, I typically only pull cards for the positions that have come up and been represented as being out of, quote unquote, out of balance, or that there is opportunity for growth. So I will pull the cards for only one position, the earth position. And when I get to the stones, I will pull stones for all the positions, just to further give that depth. And when there's imbalance, I keep pulling cards until an upright medicine presents itself. It could be the first card, it could be the 10th card. But all the cards in between are the building blocks or the stones, the stepping stones towards balance. Okay. Well, so it's imbalance, which I usually don't present the spirit card in balance, but I have to. I'm just going to be kind of stacking these because of limited space. Because of this, there's a need and a demand for respect. And I think that has everything to do with for ourselves, for others, and for the spirit, the cosmos, the creator, the one, whatever your label is. There is a real demand and need for respect. I think we've kind of fallen off that wagon more recently. So the fact that we're not feeling grounded and connected to that, because this is the pole star, the cosmic egg kind of confirms that. It's another spirit card. It's another spirit card, and it's the cosmic egg. This is all about cosmic and higher consciousness. So there's a whole lot of expansion and growth and potential here. So I don't ever nor encourage that cards inverted are a negative. It's just opportunity for growth and expansion, lessons and learning. So on a spirit development level, we are in it. We are up to our eyeballs in this. There's going to be a lot of releasing and so forth with this. The firefly continues to be unbalanced. So we're getting our little messages, our illuminations like the firefly offers, but we're not quite catching it. It's not quite happening. It is air. So our communication in this imbalance is still being developed. Oh, wow. And then elephant brings it into balance. An elephant is auspiciousness. It is divinity. It is akin to Ganesh, the destroyer of obstacles. So we're going to break through this. I might have chaos about to enter in as my son comes through the door. The final card, as a result, prosperity. Isn't that a beautiful card? So yeah, I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute as my life unfolds on camera.
Put your back up.
Hi, bud. So that's it. That's the message. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't get to the stones. Perhaps I'll do a second reading for that. Thanks. Bye-bye.